Hey guys, Coach Jesse Minch here, aka the Handle Surgeon with Get Handles Basketball, where we show you how to train smarter and harder so you can play like the pros. If that's something you're looking to do, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon to catch the newest videos. Today I'm bringing you guys something special. It's a super slow motion breakdown of two different players' handles. And these are things that you should be looking for in your ball handling ability as well, and think about, hey, how can I transfer what I'm seeing and the advice coach is giving in this video to my handles? This is Maggie. She came from Canada, and so did her younger sister Gina. They both have great handles, but there's a few things that if they both made some tweaks to could give them some instant improvements. So we got to go and dribble, cross, cross. So it's looking pretty good overall, but let's break it down a little bit slower. So let's watch this right step. Not too bad, pretty low to the ground, so good on that. As you watch her right foot, doesn't come very high off the ground, that's good. Let's watch the dribble motion. So you'll notice it's usually foot moves, then ball moves. There's a pattern usually of the way that people are gonna dribble, especially like with your crossover. Usually your feet are gonna briefly plant and then you'll cross over. So she's crossing over. Really good job of catching the ball low. Look how it barely just comes inches off the ground, comes into that hand. She pushes it back across, and with this one, we're trying to keep things low and tight. So the one minor tweak I would give her is the second it gets into this hand, right here, push it across right away. As you'll see, it floats up just a little bit. Not terrible by any means, but those little tweaks can shave off milliseconds from your crossovers and give you that more rapid fire handle. And she does a good job of keeping the other hand here low to catch it, as you'll see. But again, it kind of floats up a little bit higher, which is a little more okay for this one because she needs to cover some ground coming forward. Typically, that's what you want to do, is dribble the ball a little bit higher when you need to cover some ground. That step with the left foot seems to look good. Let's watch it again. Yep, nice and low, pretty quick, pretty direct, no little stutter steps. So nothing too bad there. Overall, this is looking pretty good. Let's just watch the rest of it play out, see if there's anything else we notice. Steps look good. That dribble could have been a little bit lower, the regular dribble, as she moved forward. That'll speed everything up a little bit. But overall, I mean, this is looking really, really sharp. So those are the few tweaks that we could give her on that. So now let's watch her do the same combo just on the other side. So now the left hand's doing the regular dribble double cross. So as you can see, it's not too bad, but we can get that right hand again a little lower to push the ball back across. So again, she does a really good job of catching it pretty low. Could maybe even get that hand a little bit lower, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second with Gina. That's one of the things that we can make a tweak with her, but she does a pretty good job of getting it low, but she could push it across a little bit quicker. By no means bad where she's at right now, just a little tweak that could take it next level. That regular dribble could be a little bit lower as well. So this dribble with the left hand, the straight up and down one as she's moving forward and trying to be a little bit quicker with that step. Not too bad. Again, both sides, the footwork's looking pretty good. Just little tweaks like this will shave off those milliseconds though, and things like that are what can get you a quicker handle. Let's watch what Gina's doing. So that's the first tweak that she needs to make, is getting those hands a little bit lower. We'll kind of give her a pass on this one though, because it's the first one. She was just dropping down into that low stance, which you'll see is one of the big things to make sure you get those hands low. So that regular dribble is not bad, not too high. Pretty good job of keeping that low, about knee height is where we want it. Opposite foot steps, not too bad. She's staying pretty low, that's good. Could get the feet apart a little more. That would bring her hands lower. And as you'll see, watch what she's doing with her hips. Her hips are coming, boom, here they're dropping down, right? We want those hips down before she releases the ball, so that way her right hand right now that's releasing the basketball would be lower to the ground, and her left hand would be lower to the ground to catch it. You can see her hips dipping down, dipping down, dipping down, dipping down, and they're still not as low as they could be, and because of that, there's all this little extra air time as it leaves one hand and comes into the other. And the other thing I'm noticing here that could help improve the control just a little bit, you can see her fingers aren't on the basketball. So it's kind of coming in her hands. Good job of grabbing with the fingers there, but as she's pushing it across, she's having it in her palm, and at the last second, it looks like it's rolling off of her fingers again. But if she could get that all in her fingers for the whole motion, that would give her a little bit better control, and that would have prevented that little bit of a bobble there. Good job on recovering and staying with it, though. We'll go into the next rep. Boom. And again, that grip on that last rep, losing it, getting the hands lower would have helped with that. That helps with all this stuff. Just getting that stance lower. This one looks pretty good. Back and forth. Not bad. Again, you kind of saw it kind of roll into the palm for a second there. Again, I don't have a problem with players having the basketball touch their palms. The big key is you want your fingers, the ends of your fingers on the basketball at all times whenever possible. Not bad though. The big thing is just keeping the hands lower, and the big thing to do that is to get the hips lower. So let's take a look at what she looks like on the other side, doing the same thing. Regular dribble, double cross. Yeah, pretty much the same points. Get a little bit lower. Even like on that regular dribble, you can see like the release point of the dribble could be lower and the catch could be lower. There's all this air time when it leaves her hand, where it's not in her hand, not in her hand, not in her hand, not in her hand, not in her hand. We want to try to maximize that dribble time. And again, this isn't to say like Gina's a bad ball handler. She's actually a pretty good ball handler. Just little tweaks like this will help take it next level and make everything a little bit sharper, more control, more quick, all that stuff. So little things like that, I'm sure, and this isn't just to like say like these are tweaks Maggie and Gina can make. Again, this is for you guys too. Like I see this with players all the time. These are the little tweaks that can instantly improve your handles if you're just paying attention to them and know what to look for, and then make it a habit. And once you've made it a habit, it'll be a part of your handles all the time. So yeah, that's the big one for her, is just getting a little bit lower with those. This one, Maggie looks really sharp on. There's just one little tweak that I noticed she can make, and it's right there. It was with her footwork. So she does a really good job on this because it's a little bit more complicated combo going between the legs and crossover, especially in a tight space like this, of keeping the ball low and keeping her hands low for the catch and release of the dribble. Look how close they are to each other. Look how low they are. Part of that is also because she gets her shoulders down a little bit. So she doesn't just get her hips low. You can see she kind of brings her shoulders down to bend down into it a little bit as well. So that's helping as well. And then you'll see she steps back a little bit, which is fine. It's good because it actually gives her the space to get that crossover off. But here's the little issue I have. I would rather see a big step with that right foot and a big step with the left foot, because you'll notice she takes this step with the left foot and then she takes this one more extra step to go into the between the legs. So that would make things just a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficient. So that's one little tweak for her that would help take it next level. But besides that, overall looking pretty sharp. And if you'll also watch, again, she does a really good job of keeping that ball low on this crossover. She keeps it about knee height. I would like to see it just a little bit lower. If she could get it below knee height, again, that would take it next level. Just little things like that. Paying attention to that can really improve the speed on your handles, your crossovers, all that stuff. And then again, it's kind of similar to what we talked about before. She catches the ball real low here. If she could step back really quick with the left leg right now and immediately go into the crossover instead of floating it up that little bit higher, again, that would speed it up. And once again, I want to reiterate, like, she's got very, very good handles, especially for a player her height. She's like my height, I think maybe an inch taller than me. And she has very, very good handles and very coordinated. These are just little tweaks that will kind of take everything to that next level, put it on turbo for her. And if you watch, actually, on not this, actually that rep, I think she cleaned up the footwork. She comes right from this step here. Yep, nice and clean. That left step comes all the way forward. So right foot, nice, clean, pretty big step. Really big step with that left foot to get right into that between the legs. Boom, you can see how it speeds everything up a little bit for her. Get into that crossover. Would like to see the ball just a little bit lower, but not bad. Nice step with the right, big step with the left, no extra little steps. Beast mode, that's exactly where we want to be with that. And then let's watch it real quick on the other side. Pretty sure we're going to have the same tips and advice. Probably a better job on that one of keeping the ball lower on the crossover, as you see here. It's probably a little closer to knee height, maybe even a little bit lower. But we want to get rid of those extra steps. You can see the little shuffles with the steps. Little shuffles with the steps. So what it would be, make it better is when she goes from this crossover, if it's a big step, instead of stepping with this right foot, if she can get in the habit of stepping with the left foot, taking a pretty big step, and then one more big step with the right foot, she could get there in one step versus one. This left foot moving 2, and the right step moving 3, and just sharpen everything up a little bit, make it a little bit quicker. Let's watch Gina and see how she's looking on it. So she's actually doing much better on this one than the last one, if you'll notice, of getting her hands low to catch the dribble. Could be a little lower, but that's really not too bad. But I would like to see that left hand about an inch lower, so the basketball would be in her hand right here already. That's where we'd like to get it. And then this is the big part that I think will help her take it next level. Look how high the ball is coming up. If we can get the ball at knee height and just have her take that quick step back with the left foot like Maggie was, that would help speed everything up tremendously and just make the move sharper, tighter, more applicable for a game situation, make it a lot quicker. And then also the footwork, right? If we can just minimize it to 2 steps when she's moving forward with this right dribble, instead of stepping with the left foot, stepping with the right foot, and then taking one more big step with the left foot to go directly into the between the legs. That would speed everything up. So those are the main 2 tweaks I noticed for this one for her. And again, you can kind of see on the crossover as well, the hips come a little bit more upright, right? You can see all this extra air time. So if she can just get the hips a little bit lower, that would help a little bit. You can see the knees aren't really bent on the crossover. That's a good indicator if you're getting low with your hips. So that's one thing I think that would make a big difference for her if she gets that tweak added into her handles. Like there, you can see she does a great job of getting low. That crossover actually is pretty good, much lower, much better. So it's just a matter of, getting lots of repetitions of doing the dribbles in that way to make it a habit, and then you don't have to continue to train it. It'll become a part of your handle. So let's watch her going the other way. Good job getting low here. Dribble came a little bit higher than we'd like it, but not bad. The control's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Dribble came a little bit too high again. Again, we want her to step with the left foot here instead of the right foot. That would sharpen up the footwork a little bit. Hips are nice and low, but you can see them kind of coming up a little bit there. And it'd make everything quicker if she stepped back with that right foot, kind of like Maggie did. But pretty good job of keeping the crossover low. It's not coming quite up to hip height on that one, just below hip height. But we'd like to get it below knee height if possible. Again, she's doing great. Like for her age, she's got some really good ball handling ability, really good ball handling ability. So these are just the little tweaks that'll make things a little bit quicker and more controlled and her footwork more quick. And then finally, we're going between the legs, behind the back. So this is actually looking really good for Maggie. The only thing is she kind of bobbles it from time to time on that behind the back. So the big thing for that is after she goes between the legs, getting that right hand back a little bit quicker. See how it's still kind of in front of her here? If she can get it down lower quicker, that'll give her a little bit more time to feel the basketball. So if her hand could be on, her right hand could be on the basketball right here instead of right here, that would give her more time to get a feel for the basketball and get more control over it more quickly and go into the next combo more quickly. High ball and hand time, the thing I always talk about. And low stance is big for that. Her stance isn't bad though with this one. It's just more of an issue of just getting that hand moved back a little quicker and moving that right foot forward quicker. So it's not too bad. She's moving the right foot forward efficiently without any extra steps. But if she could just speed that step up, that would make everything a little bit faster. And then also moving that right hand back faster. But not bad at all. I mean, she looked really good on this. I mean, about as clean as you can get it. And as you can see here, she's starting to get pretty crisp with it by the end, doing a better job of moving that left hand back. So she's kind of naturally making that adjustment. Let's see her going back the other way. Same tweaks probably. Ooh, nice. Right away, you saw her move that left hand back, and you saw how much cleaner and more controlled the dribble was. So that cleaned everything up, made everything a lot easier for her to do. And as you can see, everything's looking pretty sharp. The only other thing I would say is just try to clean up the footwork just a little bit. This one's a really good one. Boom, she went right into that step forward for the between the legs. One more step for the behind the back. Boom. This is nice and clean. This is about as good as it gets right here. So great job on this one from Maggie. Really no major advice to give her. She's doing a good job of keeping the hands low, catching it low, stance low, efficient with the steps. And then let's watch Gina do her work on this one. Nice. Hips came up there though, right? You see that? That's the one little tweak, especially for your behind the back. Like, it'll be a lot quicker and more efficient, effective in games if you can stay low with it for the most part. So as you can see, there's a little bit of extra air time that we'd rather not have. We'd rather have her hand on the basketball here, but it's not quite getting there yet. So her hips, you can see her knees are bent, but you can also see how they're kind of leaning forward. We'd like them back a little further, and that will actually bring her hips down, and then bending the chest more forward. So it's not quite parallel to the ground, about a 45-degree angle to the ground would bring those hands lower. So that's the little tweak I would give her for that. And then the other thing I noticed is the footwork on some of these kind of gets, it's not too bad, but we can work on getting rid of some of those little shuffle steps. And then also you can see the height, how high her heel is coming off the ground and her toes. We'd like to keep them even lower. And that's not bad where she's at right now, but we want to try to come, boom, direct, right from the ground here, more in a straight line to the next spot that she's getting her foot and not have it move so much in an arc, not so much up and down off the ground. Try to keep it just inches off the ground. Again, not too bad though. She's not looking like terrible by any means. She's looking really good on this. She picked this combo up really quick, so that's good. The only thing is, again, just getting the hands a little bit lower will make the dribbles quicker, more precise, more powerful, all that stuff. So just getting the hands low would be the big thing. And again, that all comes back to the stance. I cannot emphasize that enough. I tell players all the time with stance, ooh, this one's good. You can see the difference, right? She kept the hips low right from that between the legs. Got in this hand, kept low, got the ball not quite quick enough, mainly because her right hand here is a little bit too far to the side. If she got it more closer to the center of her body, she would have been able to get control of the basketball just a smidge quicker, but not bad at all. Boom, boom. Get that right hand back quicker. Not bad though. She's doing a better job of getting low. And that's the great thing about repping out drills like this, is your body after a little while will start to make those adjustments somewhat naturally, as long as you know the tweaks and things to look for, which I was cueing her on what to do the whole time she was doing the drills. So she was getting that feedback from me. Same thing here though. The big thing I'm noticing on this is the footwork. Just trying to keep the feet a little bit lower to the ground. Not having them come off the ground quite so high would make that a lot quicker. And then, of course, keeping the hips low, but she's doing a little bit better job of that. You can see she's low here, pretty low here. Getting the feel for the basketball. Not bad. The only other thing, too, is you can see sometimes the ball kind of slides in her left hand, and that's kind of keeping her from getting control over it. So the big thing I tell players is you can see it's touched her hand here, and it's still rotating, 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 and then it stops spinning. If we can get it to stop spinning sooner, you'll get a better control over the basketball. So I always tell my players, think about trying to palm the basketball. Legally, you can't actually palm the basketball, but even if you can't like physically palm the basketball, trying to get that kind of grip over it will make everything more precise. So hopefully you guys found this breakdown helpful. If you did, hit that like button and check out the video that's popping up on the screen. That's going to really help you take these concepts next level and get a better understanding of hand placement, hand positioning, and then also the stance. So those two videos that are popping up are going to help you. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, click that bell icon to catch the newest videos, and leave me a comment, say this helped, if this video helped you out, so I know, and I'll bring you guys more of these videos if I get a lot of comments saying that. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.